Tensions escalating as the U.S. ramps up airstrikes on suspected drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean. The Trump administration now slapping direct sanctions on Colombian President Gustavo Petro, along with his family, saying he's, quote, allowed drug cartels to flourish and refused to stop this activity, end quote. This comes as Petro has accused the U.S. of murder. Meanwhile, President Trump has floated land strikes in Venezuela.
You know, the land is going to be next. And we may go to the Senate, we may go to the, Congress and tell them about it. But I can't imagine they'd have any problem with it. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
Let's bring in retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Markie Montgomery. He's Senior Director of the Center on Cyber and Technology Innovation and the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How does this shift in U.S. posture, cutting aid but increasing military presence, and Colombia is a longtime ally, reshape the balance of power in South America?
I think that there's some short-term benefit to this in terms of the kind of performative muscular activity, saying we're going to stop the drug trade. But long-term, I think this undermines our relationships with these countries. I mean, if the idea is if we disagree with how you're handling an issue, we sink ships outside your territorial waters and threaten to do land strikes against you, it's hard to be seen as the partner of South and Central America if we're also swinging such a big stick at them. So I'm a little concerned that this is going to have a long-term negative impact on U.S. relations at the same time that China is basically just, around the corner handing out large loans under the Belt and Road Initiative.
Rear Admiral, I am curious from a military perspective, for strategy, how viable is a land strike option against drug networks embedded in, let's say, civilian areas?
Well, I suspect we have very good intelligence about where the cocaine paste is turned into a final product. I think that's what occurs in Venezuela. It comes as paste from Colombia. So I think we know where the labs where that happens. I think we can strike them. And we have very accurate weapons. I mean, you have to do a lot of collateral damage assessments if it's in a deep urban area. But if it's at all not in an urban area or with the selected warhead sizes, we could do those strikes. I'm not saying you can't do them. I just, I'm not a legal expert on the rationale for using them being an imminent threat to the United States.
With Venezuela aligning more closely with Russia and Iran, are we at risk of seeing this devolve into another proxy confrontation, this time in the Western Hemisphere, of course?
Well, I think you're exactly right. It is a proxy confrontation. I mean, the Venezuelan government's relied heavily on its relationships with other countries to have current military sales and to buck them up to confront the United States. But I think President Trump is right. Maduro is a bad actor. President Trump is right that both Colombia and Venezuela do not do enough to stop drugs coming into our country. I'm just not sure that this kinetic-based solution is the one that will have a long-term success for the United States.
Yeah, when we talk about long-term success, I mentioned a moment ago, Colombia's president has openly defied Washington. He's calling the U.S. murderers. Does that weaken U.S. influence in that region?
It certainly increases his popularity locally. But, Petro, the U.S. has legitimate beef with him. I'm not sure conducting operations like this undermines him either nationally within his country or regionally, as he's seen as standing up to a bully. And that's how the United States is seen when we conduct actions like this.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.